Welcome to the Sellernomics Podcast. In today's episode, we'll be featuring one of the many great tools and software available to Amazon sellers to help you grow your FBA business. A special thank you to our sponsor, Getita, the global leader in FBA auditing and reimbursements. Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at Getita.com/Sellernomics. Now it's time to show us what you got with your hosts, Rob Stanley and Lisa Kinski.
Hey, everybody, welcome. Oh, we got flip-flopped there. I was on the left on the last one.
There you go. We'll have to fix that. You know what, Lisa? These are my favorite. We get to go to all these amazing shows, talk to all these great sellers and service providers and partners, and they tell us about either this great service or great tool they have. And then, of course, we have show us what you got to bring them on to be able to show them, let them show, not show them, let them show us what they got in either their service or their tool. So let's get Greg Reynolds in here from ZonSupport. Greg, welcome to the studio. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks, Rob. Yourself?
Oh, doing great. Right. Tell us just briefly, because we do want to jump right into this. Show us what you got is kind of like a mini webinar, and we want to give you as much time as possible to show everybody this amazing slide presentation you put together. Just give them a quick high view of kind of what we're going to be covering and how they're going to be able to learn from this.
Yeah, look, anybody who's watching this, you must understand, if you can just reduce the number of low-star reviews you're getting, it's going to make a dramatic difference to your business. Everybody talks about getting 5 stars, and we do as well. But if you can find a way to slow those low stars, you're in clover.
Absolutely. Well, Lisa, you know what time it is. It's time to show us what you got, Greg.
Alrighty. It's called the ultimate show and tell, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Look, this is very much focused on a DIY, if you will, because a lot of what we try to do is show sellers what they can do themselves. And if we're going to help them as part of the service, all well and good, but you need to know what sits behind it. So look, we're pretty crunched on time at 30 minutes, so let me jump straight into it. The first thing I want to do is talk about an Amazon listing. And I won't bore you, but we've got infographics, we've got bullets, we've got description, but do you know about Amazon product documents? Now, this has long been a part of Amazon. It's sort of been in and out of the platform in different iterations over time, but this version certainly seems to have stuck for at least the last 6 months I can think of. And what it is there's a whole wide range of documents that you can actually upload onto your listing. Now, the headspace you need to be in is, what are my customers' most common questions? And then find a document, an approved document type within Amazon that you can upload onto your listing. And you must have brand registry to be able to do this. And frankly, anybody who doesn't have brand registry going on Amazon has got rocks in their head, in my opinion, anyway. So if you don't have it, then get it tomorrow. We'll start the process. But self-service, managing customers and kind of minimizing that anguish when they can't work out to turn it on, turn it off, what color it should have been, or for whatever reason, the more you can make it easier for customers to find out how to fix something quickly, self-service, it's the better for your business. So this is where it's going to sit. On your product, on your listing, you've got your dimensions, weight, manufacturer, all your details, and then sitting down at the bottom, there's product guides and documents, and then there's videos. So it's a great position, because if people are searching on your listing or trying to find help, and they see product guides and documents, and in this example, they see an installation manual, they're going to click on that. It's going to give them the answers that they would have been, trying to get an answer from Amazon or working out what to do. Frankly, more likely shoving it back in the box and sending it back and saying, I can't work this thing out. So there's actually 30 docs to choose from. And so our clients use, pretty much these are the core ones that they use. The user manual, obviously. A comparison chart is handy. A user guide kind of overlaps the manual. The manual's got more specifications sitting in it. Even having your brochure there as a PDF does you no harm. A compatibility guide, FAQs, seriously is the best for any product that you've got, which typically, you get asked dumb questions, I call them, but they're not dumb. It's because the customer just hasn't clicked. And I'd be the world's worst sometime, even trying to turn it on. I bought a selfie stick and couldn't work out how to open it. You had to just pop the feet slightly to get the top to open. I didn't look at the instructions. Anyway, a size guide, troubleshooting guide. So all of these documents sit within Amazon and sit in the back end of your Seller Central account. And as a spoiler alert, there's no document to leave a 5-star review PDF. Okay, there's no review cashback loop that Amazon provide. There's a plethora of really very precise, exact instructions of what you can upload into these documents, and then they go through an Amazon approval process. And so don't try to be tricky here. Your mission in life is to support the current sale that you've got, or to make sure when they click, all right, and they bought it, if there's any problem and they go back to the listing, there potentially is a pathway in here for them to find out how to fix the problem or to actually get through to you. So this is the link. Seller Central, Amazon enhanced content, blah, blah, blah. You must be logged into your Seller Central account, in order to get through to this area. And I kind of like to say that it's idiot proof. You pretty much just follow the prompts as it takes you through. But I really caution you, you must read into really very carefully exactly what the criteria and the use is for the document. This is Amazon, so they have it all pretty much written out and well explained. So you need to keep your focus tight, because customers who have got a problem, they haven't got time for a lot of fluff. Okay, they want straight, clear, concise instructions and guides of how to get through somewhere. So I didn't want to leave this point without just highlighting some basic steps I see wrong, especially with new clients who are coming on board, and we're going through their listing, we're building out their knowledge base, and what we're finding is they've got some great infographics, but there's nothing about that detail in the infographic in their bullets, which is a mistake. Because if you're not a picture guy like me, you're more into text and into data, I'm not going to scroll through and look at pictures. I'm going to go straight into the bullets. So if you've got the size dimension sitting in an infographic, all nice and pretty, for heaven's sake, shove it in your bullets as well. So if it's a more analytical pair of eyes like mine and people are scanning the bullets, they can pick up on that information. I have clients say, oh, but it's in the infographic. Well, that's no good if nobody opens the infographic. At the same time, descriptions are what open on mobile, right? So again, don't say, oh, look, I've got it somewhere else, I don't need it here. I always say to clients, there's 3 areas you need to repeat the same information, but in a different style, a different format, or obviously with images, so it conveys the story. Amazon product documents, we see as just, an extension on your listing and kind of building out and really making something which is a resource, if you like. The second area, and we're kind of still on your listing here, is Amazon Answers. And look, this isn't appropriate for all products. Many listings just don't get questions. So if you're not getting questions, there's little point in kind of going through this slight maneuver that I want to highlight to you. But if you are getting if you are getting questions, keywords in here rank. So for heaven's sake, don't stuff it full of all your best keywords. You've got it to make sense. So I'm looking at a new lock for my front door here at the moment, and it's a Schlage light commercial. So, I know it's Schlage, right? So I'd be saying, and somebody's asking about how to change the, the number sequence, the code, So if light commercial, for example, light commercial lock is, one of your keywords or sits in your keywords, I would be saying your light commercial lock, such and such. Okay. Just to pick some answers that you can fold in to a natural kind of reply to the question. So, you can't afford to look fake. And if you look through Amazon Answers, people just shoot from the hip. How do you turn it on? They just put in what they think. And so when you're replying to these messages, for heaven's sake, don't say, dear, if you see their name, Greg, thank you for asking. It's like asked and answered. So if we say for Amazon Answers, you just dial straight into the answer, pop in a few keywords along the way if it's going to help you, but obviously make sure that you're answering the question correctly. So here's the should or shouldn't I. Have a look at your competitors. Some customers in the past ask questions of your competitors. That might give you some insight, especially if it's a new product or a new listing or something that you're going into. And so we talk about, seeding your listing with 100% appropriate content. So don't think to yourself, oh, they might like to know this or they might like to know that. You really need to make sure it's actually relevant. Otherwise, you're going to end up seeding a whole stack of Amazon Answers, and it's not going to get you anywhere. The catch here is, you must be logged into your Seller Central account. So when you're logged into your Seller Central account, and then you click on the answer to the question, what it will do is it will pull up the sign off at the bottom. It will say seller. And so that's like the seller badge, if you like. So what you find is if you're looking through listings and then you dive into Amazon Answers, customers often weigh in with replies, and frankly, a lot of times they're wrong, or it annoys me. They say, oh well, I don't like Schlage. I use Loctite. I don't know what another brand is in the States, but and I'm like, who paid you to put that into your Amazon Answers, or you're working for them? So number one rule, if you get an Amazon Answers alert, you want to dive in there and make sure you do. Number two, if you see somebody who's in there who's written the wrong answer, don't be defensive in your reply. Don't say, well, this answer was wrong or not correct or whatever. Just simply make sure it's very clear, and then people will see the seller badge and know obviously you're the oracle, if that makes sense. So sitting in behind all of these customer pathways, and let me go back a step or two. We see that there's 5 pathways that customers can get onto, if you will, to navigate their way to get through to you if they've got a question. Now, sure, we know that, customers, if they've got a question, they go onto Amazon and they ask a question. We also know when they go onto Amazon and ask a question, all the Amazon team are going to do is say, look, I'll just replace your product, right? I'm sure they're paid by the nanosecond. So what this is about is just making sure that at every turn, whenever a customer might want to contact you, there's a very easy pathway for them to come to. And so sitting at the end of what I'm talking about here, from your listing and everything else, is actually your brand website. And a lot of sellers actually forget about this. They kind of think, oh, my brand website has to be a Shopify site or something or other. I'm just not into that. I'm only on Amazon. But your brand website is a place that I can actually find you if I'm trying to turn on or, recode this lock. Am I going to ask Amazon? You'd be surprised at the number of customers who say no, because it's just not going to help. they're going to jump into Google, right? That's where they're going to find you. And so we say that your brand website, is arguably as important as your listing. So your listing images absolutely equal your brand website images. You want familiarity. If people find you on Amazon, they go looking for you for some reason, when they land on your website because they've looked up your brand, it's familiarity. Am I in the right place is what you're always thinking. And look, this is the same vice versa. If somebody's been cruising through Google, I know Amazon's got the lion's share of traffic, but there's still a gazillion people who search for things on Google. If they find something on Google they're interested in, if they click and you've got a link back to your Amazon site, if that's you're not on Shopify or elsewhere, or for whatever reason, again, you want that familiarity. So I've seen something on Google and I saw it on Amazon, and it's like, oh, I've seen that before, or that's what I'm looking for. So you know that you're in the right place. Now, the SEO is easy, right? You already know it. They're your keywords. Okay, the structure of your website has to be really, really, super simple, because our view, okay, in customer service, is the brand website is simply there for post-purchase inquiries, for when people are wanting to look and find or check up on stuff. Sure, the marketers will be telling you that they're going to find your brand website, they're going to love it so much they're going to go and buy your product. But we kind of take the different side of it. So it's the I say it's the ultimate conflict between marketing and ops. Amazon customers, they aren't completely stupid. They just can't turn stuff on or don't know how to do something with it. And so if you're not, as I said, if they're not sure about your product, then they're going to go and Google it. So if you found where you need to be found at that point in time, that somebody's searching for some help, then it's another pathway for a customer to find out, key information about your product. Now, if you look at your low star reviews and you read them, through gritted teeth, and it's like, another one, don't they know? Well, no, they don't. And the first question you should be asking, is my listing clear enough, etc. And the second thing is, was there a pathway created? Was there some way I could have made it easier for them to actually find out, the answer that they're looking for? Sure, if it's arrived busted and you get a low star review because it's arrived busted, you're not going to be able to say that. But a potential low star review and somebody was having some fundamental problem with the product and just needed a bit of a guide or to work out how to do something, you've got to ask yourself, did I provide that pathway? And in particular, what was at the end of the pathway? And it's called self-help, because again, and we do find this, especially on Shopify, which is far more interactive than Amazon with customers. Customers are coming through and asking questions all the time. And we know what they're going to be because we see so many more questions. So you've got the answer, or you've put it onto the listing, or you've somehow made it really simple for customers to actually find out what to do. So if I go back full loop to the first part of this presentation, your Amazon product documents are your guide. If you've done your research on your competitors, if you've really dug into your product and you know what the weaknesses or what difficulties people are going to have or what questions they're likely to ask, and you've spent the time and focus making a really concise, very clear document to put on your listing, then wouldn't you have this same information on your website? And if it was called, product guide, wouldn't you use product guide on a navigation on your listing, so that somebody who came to the website and had been on your listing and see something, so everything makes sense. And this is the conflict between the marketers, because they want everything bright and breezy and very, very visual. Whereas in customer service, we want the nitty gritty. We want the answers. So don't let your marketing guys own your website, is basically what I'm saying. Okay. So the important thing is your brand website is actually going to be the landing pages that you're going to get from some of the other pathways I'm going to talk to you about. So again, I spoke about clear navigation. You've also got to make sure that if you're sending somebody to your website from, another document, I hasten to add that is not from Amazon product documents. They're not going to allow you to do links somewhere. But if you were talking about your insert, for example, don't land them on the front page. They don't care about your brand or what anything looks like. If they've clicked from a product insert to get help about an installation or how to put it together or something, make sure you send them to the page that's going to answer that question. Okay, they must feel they've landed in their help. So if you've got a warranty form and it's a link, then make sure that they land on the warranty form. And it's fillable and it's easy to do. And there's a click confirm. Don't make them go through any hoops, is what I'm saying in a long way around. Now, product inserts, I think ZonSupport led the charge on this since 2017. It's always been a key part of what we believe is the way to get engagement with your customers. And sure, back then, we were right out there saying, leave us a review. Nowadays, you've read it all in the media, you know it yourselves, you're buying it, and somebody asks you a product review, it's nah. Okay, you want a product review. It's actually not all about you. It's actually all about your customer. And so this is our view, and I'll never come on a webinar without putting my forkney worth in here. Okay, it's not the time or place to ask for a review, in my humble opinion. Okay, it's the opportunity to say thanks, and it's the opportunity to provide a pathway if a customer feels they need to get in touch with you. Also, if you can get outside the first sales doctrine, and this webinar would then be an hour, obviously, you need to be doing that, at the same time. So again, on your insert, and all of these pathways are kind of complementary, if you like. And by that, as I said earlier, if it's in your infographic, take the data off the infographic and put it in your bullets. And then take that and drop it into the wording down in the description. And then your product, Amazon product documents are all part of that mix. So again, your product documents are your guide to what you should shove in your product insert. Okay. Now, at the same time, what you're trying to do is add in something in your offer that's unique, which is going to get you outside the first sales doctrine. So if you can't find anything that you think fits, tips for best use, an ebook. I don't know, dig deep, dig real deep, because the primary objective of your product insert, going back one, is to say thanks and provide a pathway for contact. If you can get outside the first sales doctrine, do so. But the whole strategy behind here, don't muddy the water with asking for a product review, because I'm not completely stupid. I haven't yet opened the product. I haven't even used it. And I know you want a review. Now, in your product insert, you must have a QR code and an email address. Back in 2017, I would have said, well, exactly what is a QR code? They've been around actually forever, but just no update with them whatsoever. What happened with us all in COVID? You know, the only way you can find a menu anywhere, even now these days sometimes, is a QR code and look at it on your phone. So there's a lot more familiarity, right, with a QR code. So, you know, you'd be silly not to actually have the QR code sitting on there. But you also need an email address. For a dinosaur like me, I just want an email, okay? And if I go to a restaurant, I'm like, okay, I've got my hand sanitizer if I'm feeling that. Give me a bloody menu. I want to read, okay? So anyway, your email address, it's not help, it's not info at, it's not sales at, it's not orders at, it's hello at. Now, there are brains are a lot better than me who we've paid to do a lot of copywriting over the years. And hello is very neutral, isn't it? Info at or orders at is almost too transactional. If the way that people are going to contact you, if you give them an email address is hello@gregsproducts.com, you know, maybe my language will change. Maybe I will be in a slightly different mindset, if that makes sense. So anywhere that you're encouraging people to contact you, I really, really encourage you to use hello at and use all those others. Never use help. You know, use others where you feel you need to use them. But if you're trying to engage a customer, trust me, it's hello. Rob, how am I doing for time, man? Because I'm smashing through this.
You're doing great.
Man.
You're doing great. Keep going, Greg.
All right. So now we're on to packaging. And this is the fifth pathway in case you've lost count. Now, think of your packaging like a billboard, okay? It's got to be a mix of branding and pathway. Sure, I understand, you know, you want it to be, you know, a gift or something that looks really sexy or really great, or you're into austerity, you know, you're into the eco packaging, plain one color ink, you know, whatever it is. We say it's got to be a mix of branding and pathways. So again, it's another conflict that you should win with your branding department. Let's be honest, many sellers, you're both departments anyway. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about Zule Kitchen, and this is their link. Let me just grab something for their product. And I say, if you can't see enough of what I'm going to show you in the next few minutes, actually go and buy one, or just go and buy one just to the touch and feel, if you will, to kind of see what it's like, because I really think that's super important. Okay. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, this is Zule Kitchen, and the ultimate product it is, because I'm addicted to coffee, and it's simply a milk frother. It's quite simple. It's $10, and I only just bought this because I left my other one somewhere around in my travels. And you know, this packaging is the ultimate. Trust me. So let me walk you through this real quick. On the front, it's an electric milk frother. I know. There's the picture, and over the top, there's actually when it was closed, there was actually a seal over the top. Zule Kitchen, there's actually a seal over there. So it ticks that box as well. If you're wanting to try to make it clear to somebody, hang on, this is a return because the seal's been broken, for example. Okay, there's your branding. Damn great. Now let's start going around. Okay, here we go. Usage instructions, right? Then we're coming to what it's good for. Then we're coming to how to clean it. Then we're coming to the battery installation. And hey, the batteries aren't included. Now, yeah, I know it's a long, skinny box, so they can get a lot of stuff on there. Then here we go, our story. and on it goes. I've got to get this right. Then on this side, they've done it well. It's got the QR code. Now, what it doesn't have on here, and I forgive them for this, it doesn't have hello at, okay? But it does have their Zule Kitchen / warranty. And I haven't got round to having a look at that to see if it actually works or not. And on the back, bottom, it says that it's recyclable. You know, this for me has got to be the ultimate pathway for your packaging. Okay, it's complementary absolutely to the product insert, and their insert, you know, I need to talk to these guys. This is it. And basically it's how to put the battery so the little tag is underneath, because trust me, once you've shoved the battery in, you're never going to get them out unless you put the tag underneath before you put the batteries in. So I think they could have done themselves a favor and put something else inside here. But I think that's really an exciting find, and frankly, that should be what you use as your guide, if you will, if you're trying to work out, you know, how to get this one going. So, coming back on my presentation, the branding is good for a gift. It's got multiple pathways. It's got self-help sitting on here. Again, you know, if you've opened it and you can't work something out and the box is still sitting next to you, you know, there's some key things that are sitting here to help, okay? And so that's pretty much where we end up. The first point that I spoke to you about was your Amazon product documents. The second part, okay, is your infographics and bullets. That infographics word should have been in there twice, should it? And the third part is actually the importance of your description. So in other words, all these three areas on your listing have to be complementary and give you the guide of what you should be putting where. And just to go back one point, if you find something in Amazon product documents that you realize that you should have had elsewhere, go add it into your infographic and put it into your listing. Sometimes you find things by doing them in reverse. The second area that I spoke about was Amazon answers. It's got to be appropriate for your product. Use your keywords, and the natural flow is critical. Otherwise, it's going to look fake. And on that, what we say to people is, you don't say, dear customer, dear nothing. Somebody says, how does it work? What you put in there is your light commercial lock is best, or turns on or resets by doing this, and this. Okay? Kind regards, / customer care. Now, I would have that all in one line. Okay? Not broken into paragraphs. So what you find when you're scrolling through Amazon answers, there's a question and there's a wee block of text at the bottom that gives you exactly the answer that you're looking for. Your brand website, we've agreed. Your listing copy is your website copy. It's actually the opportunity to talk to your customer, and you know, navigation is everything. If you're landing people from your packaging or your product insert, or indeed from any marketing, make sure you land them to the appropriate page. Don't send them to the front page and expect them to go and scroll to find out the FAQ or find the warranty form, because they might buy something else or they might think something different. That's just not going to happen. And the last area that I've spoken about, well, it was probably the third area that I spoke about, is your product insert. It's not the time or place to ask for a review. It's to say thank you, provide a pathway, and at the end of the day, again, a QR code and your hello at email is really what should carry the day. Packaging, branding and ops overlap, pathways and self-help, and again, your QR code, hello and email. And so that's it. There's 5 pathways, and judging by the success that our clients have been having with us for more than a little bit of time, it does make a material difference to dropping those low star reviews.
Absolutely. Greg, why don't you also tell everybody just a little bit about ZonSupport and some of the other services you guys offer?
Sure. Look, our wheelhouse is customer service. So, we run interference when people are doing copy and a multitude of other things, but we just look after customer service. We're all Americanos. I'm the exception. I'm originally from New Zealand. I've been based out of Thailand for 15 years, and I spend most of my time in the US and Mexico these days. So, all native English speakers living our lives with many millions of other Americanos, locals dealing with locals, reading in between the lines. It's your one opportunity you've got to engage with your customer is often reading in between the lines or having the confidence to go back and ask them a question. Not to shove the right template that you think was right and actually get it wrong. And so our KPI, if you like, is how many resolutions did we get? Not did we reply to the customer in 1.2 nanoseconds. So if it's anything to do with customer service, for heaven's sake, our rates start at $5 a day. You really are well worth, I think, using a local team for that. And don't get me wrong, I've got the ultimate respect for people in the Philippines and Pakistan, India, and everywhere else. They do great work. We've got our admin and our back office stuff is outsourced. So if the internet goes down, it's not a problem. Or if they aren't doubly sure on something, they ask a clarifying question, that's fine. But it's not what you want when you're trying to deal with customers. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think you had a special offer for everybody also, right?
I do. And that's on the next slide. Shall I go to that?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
You can pop it up there.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So really what I'm saying, I'm biased, obviously, if spending all your time in your inbox, working in your business and not on it, it's just not going to serve you. Okay. And so what we do is we actually create time for you to focus on your PPC, your social media, your inventory management, whatever else it is. And so if you come through this link, it's quite simple. We give you $100 off your first invoice. And that kind of starts the conversation. So I really encourage you, look, it costs you nothing. Click on the link. You'll actually get a nice reply. And we actually send you our latest product insert guide, which you might find of interest. Let's have a conversation and see where it leads.
Absolutely.
Love it.
That's good stuff.
Alrighty.
All right. If you need any help, head on over to zonsupport.com/sellernomics. I'm sure there's probably a hello at on that page. You can always get a hold of Greg or anybody who's there on his team. If you have any questions regarding some of the amazing content he's provided on the Show Us What You Got show with Sellernomics. And Greg, absolutely incredible information. In fact, I have to say, I don't think we've had anybody go that deep into inserts, packaging. So absolutely a first so far for the show. And thank goodness it was with you. We will be having Greg on another time on our Sellernomics regular podcast. We're going to cover a lot of amazing stuff that Greg does, including sourcing from Mexico and some other amazing stuff that he's working on one of our other shows. But man, Greg, you definitely showed us what you got, and we do appreciate that. Any last tips or words for everybody? Any of the Amazon sellers out there?
No, just make sure you go back and you follow through some of those steps, and trust me, your low star reviews will come down massively.
Absolutely. If anybody has any questions, be sure to leave those in the comments section. Hit that like and that thumbs up. We do appreciate it. And Greg, you definitely showed us what you got. Everybody stay tuned for another episode of Show Us What You Got, and we appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sellernomics Podcast. Special thanks to our sponsor, Gatita. Did you know that Amazon probably owes you money for FBA reimbursements? Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at getita.com/sellernomics. Be sure to join us again next week for more great tips on how to grow your business. And thanks again for listening.